I regard the PCA with a great deal of pleasure and warmth. Knowing it was my baby, I didn't expect it to reach the heights that it has.
I think it's a fantastic organisation. The work it does with the Benevolent Fund for past players, the fantastic work it does with its educational programmes and opportunities it creates for the current players is phenomenal.
Certainly the most proactive and professional group of people that I've met within sport wanting to make a difference. And I think the early days when stakeholders of the game saw the group of players as being some sort of aggressive union quickly realised that these were the best allies, the best friends of the governing body of the counties was the players. And they soon realised that. And today, looking at the working relationship the PCA has with all the stakeholders, I feel proud and honoured to have worked for the PCA.
The organisation today is very different to the one I was involved in 30 years ago, and it's quite different to the one that I joined in 2009. As I say, we had grown, or the PCA had grown very fast. There were lots of arms and tentacles, most of which were successful, some of which weren't. And we actually spent the first 3 or 4 years putting the organisation into the shape that it's in today, which is simpler, obviously a lot bigger than it was, and offering a lot more services than it was certainly 30 years ago, even 15 years ago. And as you know, it was Richard Bevan that drove that growth.
The players of today owe a huge debt of gratitude to Fred, to everybody else that was associated with the early days of the PCA, Harold Goldblatt, Peter Walker, Jack Bannister. There's a long list of names of people who were responsible for the bravery of setting up an association at a time when it was a really challenging thing even to contemplate, never mind to do.
The PCA now is a very different organisation to the one that I was involved in 20 years ago. Everything you read, and rightly so, points to the fact that it's a model players' association, extremely professional. I say to everybody who sees the magazines that drop through my letterbox or the events that I'm fortunate to be invited to, if the PCA does something, it does something well.
The 50th anniversary legacy appeal is really important to the Benevolent Fund. In recent years, we've brought members much closer to the fund. We've made them realise that this is their charity. It's their insurance pot, if you like. So going to every member and asking them for something that we can monetise in the appeal is massive, and hopefully it will leave a true legacy, not just from a monetary point of view, but from an inclusion point of view for the membership.
We really were a bunch of amateurs. We held our meetings, but we used to do it with alcohol. We used to hold them in pubs and clubs, and we were in fact finding our feet, sort of searching our way in this sort of wilderness of employer and employee. Now they've got a very established role, and somehow they have linked with the establishment in such a way as you identify the two together.
And I think in 1967, when Jack and Fred Rumsey and the players formed the association and had probably 10 times more aggression towards them in terms of minimum wage and standard contracts and various other parts of playing the game, they did an amazing job, actually, and the likes of Harold Goldblatt and Laurie Doffman, and particularly David Graveney, in those years that I worked with him. Immense hard work and guidance with the only motivation to do what is good by the PCA and by its members.
I think we owe the founders of the organisation a massive debt of gratitude. Whether they envisaged that the organisation would grow to the size that it is today and to be able to offer the services that we do, whether they thought we'd have a charity as we have now, whether they thought we'd have representation like we've got now, I don't know. But we definitely owe them a massive debt of gratitude for what they started, for their foresight and for their vision, which is enabling us to help players not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well.
Like all good organisations and good bodies, it keeps moving forward. People change, people come, people go, but at the end of the day, the unity of the players and what it does is absolutely fantastic.
Hopefully moving forward, the PCA will continue to build on what we have now. So from starting in 1967 to the numerous services that we've got, hopefully we can continue our strong representation. Hopefully we can continue to offer members the services that we have now and develop them and grow them and make them better.
Well, the PCA is recognisable as the association that I first joined all that time ago by name, and probably by name only, away from the fact that their sole reason for being is actually to represent the players. That remains absolutely integral to the heart of the business. It has changed beyond recognition. You just have to look at the services that the PCA offer nowadays. We know that there are confidential helplines which are life-changing. We certainly know that there's a number of players that have used the benevolent fund, which was always there, but nowadays it just seems to be more and more pertinent to more and more people. It's incredible actually if you overlay what it was like back in 1990 with what it is now. You have to say it's an incredibly good job, incredibly well done by a number of people.